So why are these big YouTubers with millions and millions of followers leaving YouTube? So if you've watched some of these videos over the last couple of weeks, you've had people like Tom Scott, Matt Pat, some of these big names leaving YouTube. And you think, why would these people do that? They have millions of followers. It's kind of like a dream job. It's like, it's what, if you ask, a lot of the youngsters now, what do they want to be when they grow up? They say, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be an influencer. And it's very interesting. And, I've been in the business game for 20 years, and there's lots of things that I've done, lots of cycles that I've seen, and there's things that I've done that I've really loved when I started, and then I started to hate it the more I got into it. I got a dream job of becoming an animator, right? I got to work on games, films. I got to go into central London, and I got to work on all these big projects. But it got to a point where it became a chore. And this is the problem, and this is why I think a lot of these big YouTubers are now leaving YouTube. And if you look at the underlying message of that, it's really something that they used to love, and then it becomes a chore. Like, I've got to wake up every day, I've got to create a video. So it's really like, if you want to get more success in your life, and this channel is about success secrets, and I've been in the business game for 20 years. I've created multi-million-pound businesses. I actually have 6 million followers that follow me across different platforms, across social media like Facebook, Instagram, and actually I have another YouTube channel. But I wanted to start a brand new one because I wanted to show people that actually in today's day and age, is it still possible to grow a brand, to grow followers, to grow influence? And the answer is yes, and I want to prove that with this brand new channel. And when I'm looking at really finding out, how does a job become a chore, and a chore becomes something you dislike to do? Same when I started a lot in real estate. So I started in real estate, many years ago, when I was 23 years old. And now I'm getting a little bit older now, as you can probably see. But what I realized is, even that thing was making me a lot of money. I didn't really have a passion for it. It's kind of like, okay, I've got to drive to this location, I've got to go and look at the property, and it wasn't really something I was passionate about. And one thing I'm passionate about is I'm really passionate about helping people, hone their message, if they want to start a business, if they want to do a side hustle, and if they really want to get out of that rat race and create passive forms of income. And so a lot of the business I started to evolve with, I started in real estate, and it became, I don't know, it really did start becoming a chore. And again, if you look at what a lot of these YouTubers, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're a big YouTuber, if you're a big athlete, if you're an amazing actor. Like, I see a lot of people at the top of their game, and it's kind of like a job. When you always want that promotion, and you're like, I want to become the manager, I want to become the director, I want to become the CEO, and you kind of get to that point, and when you get there, it's like, is that it? Because you had different expectations. And I think that's where the big challenge is. People always ask me, John, I don't know where to start, right? Like, how do I even get started in business? Or how do I get started on YouTube? Or how do I get started becoming, a social media influencer? Well, you got to look at, first of all, the first question you got to ask is, what do you want, right? What do you want? And when you decide out what you want, the second question is, why do you want it? Because when you understand why you want it, and again, if you look at a lot of the YouTubers, their wants, their why for starting, and if you look at the earlier videos, a lot of these YouTubers, it was kind of like just them talking to camera, and then production got a little bit bigger, and then everything just started to blow up, and it's kind of like it's that next level. And that's why we always say, new level, new devil. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it doesn't matter how much money you're making right now. When you get to that next level, there's always that next level, which comes with new challenges. Inherently, the problem with creating a solution to a problem is you automatically create another problem to that solution. So it's a constant, never evolving process, and it does get tiring. You hear a lot of these YouTubers saying, I'm tired. That's like a common word that I'm hearing this. And of course, we get to different phases of our life. So when people start off, maybe they are single, maybe they're in a relationship, maybe they didn't have kids. But the older you get, and I know I'm getting older, you have different priorities. So now my reason for creating these YouTube videos is to really pass on the knowledge to the next generation of entrepreneurs. I mean, I made a lot of money in real estate, I made a lot of money in business, and I'm still continuing to do that. But a lot of people keep asking me about it, and unfortunately, I don't always have time to reply to every single email that I get or message that I get. So I want to create, again, these videos to really help you, create that success. How do you find that passion? How do you find that purpose? How do you know exactly what to do? And there's always going to be downtimes as well. And you know what I realized, and I'm going to give you a live example on this. In 2020, I started on a app called Clubhouse. And Clubhouse was a it's like a social media audio app. You know, like right now we're watching video, but imagine you're not seeing my face, you just hear my voice. And so when I started that platform, I mean, I was one of the top creators there. I had one of the biggest clubs when it comes to the business space and the entrepreneurship space. But every day I was going on there, probably, you know, between 1 to 2 hours a day, just dedicating and just really talking on clubs about different, you know, topics of business, entrepreneurship, self-development, personal improvement. And the first, I would say 6 months, I really enjoyed it. I mean, also we're in lockdown as well, so there was nothing else to do. But then as the world started to open up and as I started to, again, do more and more and more stuff on Clubhouse, it started to become, it felt like a chore. Like, oh God, I've got to find time to go on and I have to carry all my equipment with me and everywhere I would travel. And it started to become a chore. So one advice I've got for a lot of you is avoiding that burnout phase, or that phase where it starts to become a passion and starts becoming a chore. Because a chore is something you have to do that I've got to do it on this day and this time. It's kind of like a job, isn't it? I've got to go to work at 9 o'clock and I finish at 5 o'clock, and it's like that every single day. So if you look at, again, the title of this video is why a lot of these big YouTubers quitting. It's not that they don't love their dream job. It's that the job has now become a chore, and there are other priorities in life. And because actually, for those of you, if you are looking to become a YouTuber, influencer, a creator, it's a lot of work. You know, you have to film the videos, you have to edit the videos, you have to get soundtrack for the videos, and you have to think of ideas. And it's almost like every waking moment is just you thinking about what video to create, right? Or what to think about. And it does get tiring. So unless you really love that, unless you want to be an educator or a teacher, you want to share your thoughts, then, you know, you're going to always get that resistance. And that's why I always say that everything that we do, there's always going to be resistance in what we do. And that's why when people always come to me and they say, John, like, give me that one secret that's going to make me a millionaire. Well, it's not the secret that you need. It's the person you have to become to get there. You actually have to start enjoying the journey. So for example, you know, when I'm starting this brand new YouTube channel, you know, I'm like, if you look at all my other channels, I'm getting, you know, thousands and millions of views on there every single month. And this one, I'm not, right? Why? Because I'm starting from scratch, and it never works like that, right? It's like a little snowball. It's a little snowball that gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger the snowball gets, right, the more momentum you're going to choose and grow. But again, you need to choose to grow, right, is what I meant. Like, you've got to always think about, okay, everything that you do, and you've got to look at, a lot of people talk about compound interest. You guys know what compound interest is? So compound interest is, I'm going to do something, but if I invest in something, let's say I invest $100 and I get 10% interest, so I've got $110 now, right? And then next month I get interest on 110, right? And then I get interest on that, and then it starts to grow. Well, a lot of people don't talk about compound effort, right? What is compound effort? So again, if I look at the early days of Clubhouse, or even all my other social media platforms that I've grown to millions of followers on, there was one thing, like people say, John, is it the content? Is it the niche? Like, what is it that you're doing that's allowing you to grow so big on these platforms? And honestly, it's just one thing. Make a commitment to do something that's a non-negotiable. So with Clubhouse, for 3 years, I made a commitment that every single day I will do a Clubhouse room. It's basically like a podcast. I'll do a podcast every single day for half an hour to an hour. And I stuck to that commitment. I became one of the biggest creators on there. And of course, that in result yielded a lot of business for my other businesses. Right? It's kind of like the guy who goes and plays golf, but he's a lawyer, right? And he plays golf, and then he goes back to his law firm, and he's making money from there. And then he plays golf. He's like, I'm spending too much time playing golf, and then he go back to the law firm, and then suddenly the business stops coming in. Why? Because now he's not playing golf, because he didn't realize that a lot of the business came from all the people that were playing golf. So the reason why I want to share this with you is, you know, whether you are looking to become an entrepreneur, an investor, a business owner, you want to get into trading, you want to become a YouTuber, influencer, creator, just know that the process is what makes the process good, right? So even me, when I'm starting off a brand new channel, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what do people like. Do they like this types of video where I'm just talking to a camera, more like podcasty, talking to a friend type video, or, you know, do they like, you know, videos, like if you look at my other videos that I first uploaded, there were like lots of cuts, lots of animations in there to keep retention. But actually, like, and I see actually, for those of you, I'll create another video on this, on how the whole YouTube trend is now changing. If you look at the Mr. Beasts, they would have all the big, different cuts, for the first minute would have like, 50 cuts in there, different shots and things like that. But I don't know, I think unless you have millions of dollars and a lot of time to spend, which most people don't, most people are working a job, they have families, they have kids, they don't really have the time, they have a life. Maybe it's just, hey, I just chuck up a camera, I talk for 10, 15 minutes and I upload it, it's done, right? So that's another stand. I'll talk a little bit more about that in another video as well. But what I realized, when it comes to avoiding that burnout, when it comes to not making something a chore, there's 3 things that I'm always focusing every day. And the first question is this: is what I'm doing impacting? Is what I'm doing impacting? Because it's not about how much money you make, is it? It's about how much impact you've made in your life before you leave this planet. That's why I do what I do, because I actually want my kids to watch this stuff so they know, daddy's mindset, they know daddy's frameworks, they know daddy's way of doing business. It's interesting because, when you create a will and you create a trust and things like that, or your family office, there's things that you leave behind, right? And people always think about, oh, what should I leave behind? How much money should I leave behind? Actually, you should be thinking about what knowledge should you leave behind? What lessons did you learn in life that you can pass on to the next generation? That's actually one of the reasons why I'm actually creating these videos as well, because I want the next generation to be able to watch this stuff. And also I can take all this content, I can put it into AI, and you've got things like 11 Labs that can clone your voice. You've got HeyGen that can do an AI avatar. So when I eventually leave this planet, years and years and years from now, they'll be able to create an AI avatar of you. So that is really real legacy. When you can create real legacy, we can stay behind. When your kids, your grandkids' kids can ask you a question, you can answer in your voice with your methodologies, with your lessons in life. I think that's really powerful. So this is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. So number one is it impactful? Number 2 is it sustainable? So you look at when people are starting goals, they have this, when I started off, creating my goals, I'm gonna go to the gym every single day. I'm gonna, eat clean every single day. But unfortunately, it's not gonna work like that, is it? Right? You kind of get to a point where you're doing things only for the sake of doing things, and you got to ask yourself, is it sustainable? Right? So if you can, let's say you want to become a YouTuber and your goal is, I want to film a video every single day, fully edited. Is that sustainable? Yeah, but you're going to burn out pretty quick. Then you're burning the candle from both ends. So then you're going to think about, when I do something, is it sustainable to do? So for example, it's not really that much work for me to sit in my office. It doesn't matter where I'm in a hotel room, if I'm traveling around the world, turn on the camera, and by the way, before I film this, I would write down a couple of bullet points on what I want to talk about. I'm not using any scripts here. I'm thinking about what message do I want to get to. And actually, if you look at the underlying messages, don't burn out, right? Don't burn out doing the thing you love to do, because it's such a shame. I see so many people that have so much to give to the world, but they get tired, right? And when they get tired, you've got to make it sustainable, right? So try and make it sustainable. And the third thing that I always want to think about when I'm doing things is, does it make sense to do business-wise, right? Does this make business sense? Because as you know, I'm an entrepreneur, investor, and mentor. And I always think about, is there better ways to do something? And if there is, can I invest in that? And can I also grow that to the next level? And can I invest in a system and automation? Another reason why a lot of these people are burning out is because they don't have a system. They're in it doing it themselves. Okay, they have big teams, but they're still constantly thinking about it, constantly having meetings, and they have people to deploy it. So actually what you want to create is a system. What is a system that you can use There's a really good book called E-Myth, written by Michael Gerber. And it's an amazing book talking about the entrepreneur's myth. The entrepreneur's myth is, all because you're good at doing something doesn't mean you're a great business owner, doesn't mean you're a great manager, doesn't mean you're a great operator. There's a difference between a visionary, an operator, and someone who can execute and deploy and manage a team. So these are all different things that I always think about when it comes to creating, is it business? Is it a viable business as well to be able to do? So for example, I create videos like this. People reach out to me and say, John, can I hire you to be a speaker on my next event? right? Or can I hire you to be on a podcast? Or can I interview you for a podcast? Or I'll get book deals. Or I'll have people reach out and say, John, have you got any good investment deals coming up that I can co-invest with you, right? Or so I get a lot of the opportunities. So that's why, for me, it makes sense for me to do this, because I know a lot of you reach out to me. You want to do property deals with me. You want to learn. Some of you want to attend some of my events, by the way. By the way, I'll put some links in the description for any of you if you'd love to learn more. If any of you would love to contact me directly, just send an email to contact@johnlee.com, contact@johnlee.com. Any questions that you've got, you can leave a comment below as well. I'd love to answer any questions that you've got as well. I personally go into the comments below and I always answer the questions. And for those of you looking to create viable businesses, I created a video on some of the new up and coming business models for this year as well. So if you'd love that, I'll link it at the end of this video as well, but make sure you check it out. But I always want to say to all of you that focus on what you were born to do. A lot of you are doing the things that you don't really like doing. So do the things that you love to do. That's all part of living. We want to start living instead of just existing in life. Next thing is, when you figure that out, then you want to keep doing it, and you do the little actions every single day. Because I always say that if you want to create success, the more action you take, the more money that you make. And we may believe that we can or can't do something, and guess what? Either way you think, you're right. But my anchor message in my life and for all of you is that you must believe that anything is possible, because when you do, that's when you start getting results. It's John Lee, your mentor, checking out for today. Check out the video right here, right now. Check out for any of the things that you are looking to do. And if any of you love to attend any of my events as well, check out the description or head over to johnleeevent.com. I look forward to seeing you there. See you next video. Bye for now.